just so much work.
Yeah, I know it's terrible, isn't it? Okay, so let's backtrack a little
Yeah.
bit. So what we covered last week up to the addition and subtraction of fractions. You guys, any problems with that? Does that all make sense? We're good on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that stuff's pretty straightforward. Remember which one is which. Okay. So proper, improper, common denominator is really your the big thing you want to remember there. So if we are good, then all right. So multiplication and division. Okay, so 248 is where we're going to start. So look at that example there on 248, that example 5. So remember what I was telling you when we started doing this math stuff about some of these terms that we're going to see? So it right there wants you to figure out what is the product of 7/8 and 1/8. So remember what it's talking about with product and sum and quotient and all these other different terms. So product is when you're multiplying, okay? So if we have 7/8 times 1/2, how do we figure that out? So like it shows you there, you can do it really a couple different ways. Really, go with the way it shows you, okay? Let's not get confused. So really it's just straight across. So 7 times the 1, 8 times the 2, gives you 7/16. So remember what I was saying last week when we're messing with fractions. Ask yourself 2 questions. So can I do anything? Does that get broke down any? Can I reduce 7/16? Nope. So 2 doesn't go into either one. 3 doesn't go into either one. So right there that's telling you cannot reduce 7/16. So that is your answer. So first thing is, can you reduce it? Second thing, is that an improper fraction? So is my top number larger than my bottom number? So in this case, no. 7/16 is fine. So that is your answer. So remember, just go straight across. Okay, and that's how you multiply, and that's how you get your answer. Okay, so if you look at example 6 there, so it talks about what is a third of 3 3/4. So first step, just write it out like that. So what you want to do is change 3 3/4 to an improper fraction. So remember, just take that 4 times that big 3 on the left, that answer plus that 3 that's in your numerator spot. So it's going to end up being 15/4 times 1/3. So if we just multiply straight across, that's just going to give us 15 times the 1 and 4 times the 3, so 15/12. Now, can I reduce that? No. Is that an improper fraction? Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
So improper fraction, so how do we mess with that?
You see, how many times does the bottom number go into the top number?
Yes.
Then how many is left over goes in front.
Yes.
And
No,
the
it goes on
denominator stays the same.
goes on top. So
Okay, yeah.
denominator, divide that into your numerator. So in this case, 12 goes into 15 one time. So you just put that 1 to the left. And what do you have left over? So you have, it would start out to be 1 and 3/12. So can I reduce that 3/12?
Yes.
Okay, so reduce that. You're not going to change that 1 that's to the left. That's always going to stay. So you could have whatever for numerator denominator, but that 1 is going to stay. So in this case, you can divide 3 and 12, divide that down, I'm sorry, reduce that down to 1/4. that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, you see how we got that, right? You guys see how we got that answer?
What?
You see how we got that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.
No. Okay.
Okay, now that's those ones that we've just done, those couple examples are really straightforward. There's really no work that needs to be done if we're going to cross cancel and reduce anything, okay? Now, at example 7, 1.5 by 1 1/5. So if we have that 1.5, we have to change that back to an improper fraction, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to end up being 3 over 2 times 6 over 5.
Okay.
You see how we got that?
Yes.
Okay, now, what's different about this one as opposed to the two we just did is 3 over 2 times 6 over 5. I can reduce this, that 2 and that 6, I can use, because the 2 goes into the 6, correct?
Yes.
Right. So if you look at the two problems we did before, that didn't happen. So those are purposely set up where that
Right.
2 and the 7 and the 1 and the 8, they don't cancel each other out. So what that's going to end up becoming then, 2 is going to go into the 6. So what that's going to be is, it's going to end up being 3 over 1 times 3 over 5. Because the 2, cross that out, becomes a 1, and it goes into the 6 3 times, right?
Right.
Okay. So then that just becomes 3 over 1 times 3 over 5. And then we can't do anything else. We can't cross cancel anymore, right? The 1 and the 3 and the 5, I can't do anything with those. So that just becomes where we're going to straight, left to right, multiply. So that becomes 9 over 5. So then, where am I? Okay, so 9 over 5 is my answer. Am I done with that answer?
No.
Definitely not. So
No,
your
yes.
numerator is larger than your denominator, so you can't have that. So you have to convert that back into an improper fraction, right? So take the 5, divide it into the 9, then that will give you what your final answer will be.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? So then that just ends up becoming
Got it.
1 4/5. That is your answer. Okay?
Got it.
Okay, so remember, for if we're multiplying, and this applies if you have more than just these two. So if that, you're going to get a crazy problem. It might be like 7/8 times 1/2 times 1 3/4. Same rules are going to apply, okay? So you have to do something with that improper
Okay.
one. If it's just this 7/8 and 1/2, just multiply. You can't cross cancel, so check that. Make that a first step. Can I cross cancel in this? If not, then just straight multiply across. And then when you get that answer, always ask yourself, can I reduce? Is this answer an improper fraction? Okay, and then if it is, you know what to do with it. Okay, so that in a nutshell is how you multiply fractions. Okay, you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking something here. Okay, so that's multiplying. Same rules apply every time that you multiply fractions. Go with that, okay? Now, a little bit different when you divide fractions. First of all, when you're told to divide fractions, really you can't do that, okay? Because remember, a fraction is a part of something. So I always look at it as if they tell you to divide fractions, they're really lying to you, okay? So what you need to do is multiply. So the example that we have here is 8 divided by 1/2, right? So what you have to do is take that second number, that 1/2, and flip it over. So that's going to end up becoming 8 times 2 over 1. So you're not going to divide anymore. That division becomes a multiplication problem. So since it's just the number 8, what you want to do is put a 1 underneath that 8. So that becomes 8 over 1 times 2 over 1. So any division of a fraction problem you get, that second number, you're going to flip it over, and then you're going to change it to a multiplication problem.
Okay.
Okay, so in this case, just the example that we have here just has the number 8. Anytime you get just a whole number, not a fraction, always put that slash and the number 1 underneath it. So if it's 10, if it's 50, it's a million, whatever it might be, it becomes, say, 8 over 1 times, and then flip over what you were dividing initially, okay?
Okay.
So in this case, 8, and then we're just going to go normally like we would with our multiplication rules, okay? So we're going to go straight across, left to right, and that becomes 8 times 2, and then 1 times 1. So it ends up becoming 16 over 1, or just 16. So anytime you get an answer in the fractions that is whatever over 1, your answer is just that whole number. So 16 over 1 is just becomes 16. So just drop that 1. If it's 50, if it's 100, if it's 10,000 over 1, lose the 1, and then that number is your answer.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's look at that next page. This was it 18 of them? Damn. Okay.
11, 12.
All right, so that first one there, 2/3 times 1/4. So straight across with that one is 2 over 12, right? So I can reduce that one, correct?
Yes.
So 2 goes into 12 how many
Yes,
times?
1/6.
Right, 1/6. Okay, so
Yeah, 1/6.
do we need to do another one, or do you guys just want to start solving these?
I need help with number 2. I just need, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I need help. So, would it be... Now, let me think. So, it would be... 6 goes... No. Hold on. I don't know how to reverse it.
Take the 6 times that 1 on the side there and add the 5.
That's it?
Yep.
Oh.
And that should
So
give you
11
what?
12s.
No.
No. No, I mean like for the answer.
Yeah, your answer is 11 over 12. I'm sorry. That first step would just be 11 over 6.
Okay, but it's 11 over 6.
Yeah, 11 over 6 times 1/2.
Okay.
Then that gives you 11 over 12.
Okay. Okay. Do what? 11 over 12.
Okay, so
Okay.
Look at number
So
3.
it makes a little more sense. So would you put? It would be 3 times 1 and 2 times 21.
For which one? Number 3?
For 3, would you put a 1 under the 21?
Yes.
Or would you multiply them both
Nope.
by 21?
Put a 1 underneath it every single time. So if you look at, say,
Okay.
look at 8 and number 12 and number 15. First thing you want to do is put that line and put a 1 underneath it and then solve it like we've been doing, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, go ahead and do those, okay? Do them through 18 and then we'll figure it out.
All right. 2 times 1. So we're making it mix.
Did you get for 3?
14.
Wow.
2 times 21 is 42. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 goes to
Wait. 21 times 2? What the fuck? Why did I get 63? And it simplifies to 14?
Yeah, you see how that one comes out, right? Where it ends up just being that, was it 7 over a half? Yeah, so 7 over 2 times 1 over 4.
yes.
Okay, yeah, and it's just like we've been doing, it's just straight left to right, multiplying it.
Okay. So would 6 be 1 and 10 over 32?
Nope.
And then would you reduce? No?
No. So what are you doing for number, talking 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3/4 times 7/8.
It would be 21 over 32.
Yes. So 21 over 32 is what you get, right?
Yeah.
Okay. can't reduce that, not in proper fraction, right?
Right.
Then that answer stays just like it is.
Oh.
Yep. So some of these are some kind of weird,
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Okay.
So would 7 be 7 and 14 fifteenths?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
See, you can math.
I do that.
Okay, so you would have to make these in proper fractions first. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 3 times,
7 over 3? Okay.
and then you would do 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 17, so 17 over
5.
5, yes.
Okay.
And then you 17 times 7 is 119, and 3 times 5 is 15. 15 goes in 119 7 times, with 14 left over, and you keep the denominator.
Yep, exactly right.
What number are you on?
8.
Okay, hold on.
Can mixed numbers, can they be big?
You're talking about number 8?
Like for number, yeah.
Yes. So what do you have for number 8?
You put 15 over 1.
So what? It's gonna be, hold on. $41 and 1/4.
Yes. Yep. That's correct.
Times the 15
Oh, okay.
minus 3.
Yep.
What'd you get for 1?
Yeah, some of these are pretty big. You get some big, crazy answers, but yes.
And you have to make this
Back times 65. So what do you take? 15 times 11. Where'd you get
you have to make it improper,
that?
remember?
Okay, so
So-
3 times 2.
Nope. It'll be 4 times 2 plus 3.
Okay, so 4 times 2, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Over, keep the denominator.
4.
And then you'll do.
15 over 1 equals
So it's gonna be 15 times 11.
41.
Nope. 15 times 11 is 165. And then 1 times 4 is 4. 4 goes into 165 41 times. With 1 left over. Keep the denominator.
1 left over 21.
So, like, 41 times 4 is 164. So, it's 165 up here, so you would take that left over 1, put it here, keep the denominator.
Times 3 plus 1, right?
Yep.
Okay. Which would be
13.
13 of the whole.
So, 5 times 13. Which is 65. So, it's 65. And then 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah. So then, what is the easy way I do? So it would be, I do, crap, what do I do? Sometimes I get it, but sometimes it's stuck. Yeah, okay, so it would be, like 65 divided by 32. So the top divided by bottom. And then it's 2. Ignore all those numbers because you know it goes into it twice. So then after you get that, you do 32 times 2 because it goes into it twice. That's 64.
There's 1 left over.
Yes. So it's 1 over 32. So 2 and 1 over 32.
So what's the answer for that one?
2 and 1 over 32?
Yes, for number 9, right?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely right.
Okay, and then so for division, you flip them and
What you do
multiply.
What you do is flip that second number. So if you look at number 10, 7/8 divided
Got
by...
what?
So flip the second number. So that becomes 7/8.
Just the second?
Yes. Just leave the first one alone.
Yeah.
So it's 7/8 times 16 over 1.
Okay. Do you always just do the second number?
Just the second number. Okay,
Okay.
and then look at that.
7
So-
times 6,
No, don't do that.
12.
Madison,
What?
hold on. Look at the problem now, right? So it's 7/8 times 16 over 1. So since we're doing this, can I
Right.
cross cancel anything there? Can the 8 go into the 16?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So,
other-
I hate that part.
Yep.
That's the part I
Otherwise,
hate.
your answer is
Okay,
going to be
so
nowhere
that's-
near right.
So it goes into it twice.
Yes.
So it would be 7/8
No.
times
No.
1/2.
No. What it's going to end up being is 7 over 1 times.
2 over 1.
Exactly. Because the 8's going to go into the 16, so that 8 gets canceled out. So the 8 becomes a 1, and that 16 becomes a 2.
Okay.
Okay? Then you would just multiply straight,
Okay, yeah.
left to right.
So 14.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Oh.
Okay?
All right. So,
Oh, over 9.
4. In this one, you can't reduce, so you just multiply, right?
For which one? For number 11?
For 10. Or, I mean 11.
Yeah, you can't use the 4. Wow.
Oh, I hate the cross stuff. That's
Yeah.
so annoying. Ugh.
So those would become 1, so it'd be 9 over 5.
So it'd be 45?
Boom!
No. No.
No?
Nope.
What?
No, remember you got to.
So, hold on. So 4 over 5. 9 over 4.
Right. So the 4's cancel each other out, right?
4 cancel out, so it's 9 over 5. What?
So then it would be 9 over 5 is your answer.
Oh, okay. And then do you have to make it improper or a
Absolutely.
mixed number?
Absolutely. You cannot leave it as a 9 over 5.
Okay.
Okay?
So then it's 1 and 4/5.
Yes.
Okay.
How do you get 1 over 5?
So 9 over 5. 5 goes into 9 once.
Yes.
Then 4.
Yep. So you end up with 1 and 4/5.
Uh,
Okay?
yep. Times 4.
48 over 1, right?
Is it 48 over 1? Those don't cancel out at all, so you just multiply. So 12 times 4. So it'd be 48.
Yes.
Okay.
I was not understanding this at all. To be
Yeah, I know you got it.
Does it make sense now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Wait, 6 over 1. 2 over 1 half equals.
So hold on, no, remember you have to switch.
Again, 6 over 1, and it would be 4 or 5 over 2
Yeah.
equals
11 over 2. Which equals 5 and 1 half. It's 13, 5 and 1 half.
No.
What? I'm baffled.
How many times is 2 11?
Wait. Hold on. Or wait, because you cross, so 6 can go in 2, or 2 can go into 6. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So what are you doing on that problem?
so would it be?
We would have to do this, Madison. We have to cross. We have to cross.
Yeah,
So take out the 2.
yeah,
Make it the 1.
yeah, and then 3. So 3 over 1.
So 15. Right?
So yeah, would it be 15 then? 13.
For your answer?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, would it be 15? Number 13, is it 15?
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so no.
What?
So let me walk you through this one, okay? So that's 6 over 1 divided by 2.5, right? So first thing we have to
Right.
do is take that 2.5 and convert that.
Yes, which is 5 over 2.
Okay, now since we're dividing, we're going to flip that over. We're going to invert that, correct? So then that becomes 6 over 1 times 2 over 5.
Oh.
Wait, why
Because we're
2
multiplying.
over 5?
Because this is a division problem and we have to.
You have to flip it again?
Yep. Yeah, you're just converting that first one. You're just taking that.
Correct. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
12 over 5.
So, yeah.
12 over 5.
6 over 1 and 4.
Okay.
Wait, that's it. Wait. No, that's not. I gotta make it improper.
Exactly.
Okay.
5 goes into 2 times, so it's 2.
12 over 5, yeah.
It's 2 and 1/5.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
5 goes into 12 how many times?
So 2.
2 times.
How much is
It's
left
2
over?
fifths.
So it's 2 and 2/5.
Okay. I was really close.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. So 3. See, I'm really not about these division ones.
It's just a couple extra steps. It's really not that difficult. So you just got to remember to keep,
So 4 over
Wait, which one are you doing?
14.
Okay, don't speak out loud.
Wait, what?
I don't want to mess up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14, 15. So 15 over 4. Oh, did not get that. Times.
Did you do 5 over 3? 3 over 5?
Why?
Wait. We flipped the wrong number. It's 15 over 4 still.
Wait.
14? It'd be 15 over 4, then you flip this one.
Yeah, it's gonna have.
3 or 5. 3 over 5.
Wait,
So 15.
is that flip 3 over 5?
Yeah.
So it was 5 over 3, but you flipped it to 3 over 5?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, 15 times 3. 45 over 20. Then you do 22. So it would go. So you would just keep 45 over 20? No. I lied. It would be 1 and 5/20ths. 1 and 4/5.
not an improper fraction. Wait, it is an improper fraction, but they go into each other evenly.
No.
Yeah.
20 doesn't go into 45.
Yeah, but 5 does.
Yeah, you can't do that though.
Why not?
That's just not how it works. How it works. How it works. So it'd be 45 divided by 2. Right? Yes. 2. 45 divided by 2. 2. 1 and 2. 1. 1 and 2 20ths. 1 and 1 10.
No.
What? Come on.
Okay. Number 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 3/4, right? So we got to convert that. That becomes 15 over 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then
Yes.
the 3 or the 1 2/3 becomes what? 5 over 3?
3 over 4, 5 over 3, but you have to flip it.
Yes. So that becomes
3 over 5.
right. So 15 over 4 times 3 over 5.
Cross. You're crossing.
Yes. So the 5 and the 15 cancel, right?
Yes. Okay.
There you
so
go. That's the step you're missing.
1.
1 and a 3.
Yes.
So 3 times 3, so 9 over 4.
Yes. That one step is
which
what
would
threw you off.
be- Yes.
So your answer should be
Which
what?
would be 1 and 1/4.
No.
1 1/2.
1 and 1/2.
No. So you have 9 over 4, right? So 4 goes into
Yes,
9
So 4 goes into 9
twice
twice.
with 1 left over.
2 and 1.
Yes. 2 1/4.
2 and 1/4. Okay.
Yes. There's your answer. It's a Monday. Don't worry about it.
Right. Okay. Let's try this again. So would it be 27?
Yes. Yep. Just as simple as that.
Oh, that one was.
Yeah. Just I mean, honestly, that one is as simple as it gets.
And then multiply 9 times 3, 27. Then over 1, you always just, if it's over 1, it's that number.
It's that number.
It is. It's that one.
So look at number 16, okay? So when you get two of these problems that you have a crazy number like 26 and 2/3 and 3 1/3, convert both of those numbers first, okay? And then turn it into a multiplication problem and flip that second number, okay? Just so you get ahead of yourself and you don't lose
Okay,
track of any
so-
numbers or anything, okay? So convert those first,
So
then
26 times
26.
so 80 over 3.
How do you get 80 over 3? 26 times 3.
Plus 2. And then 9, 10 over 3, so 3 over 10. Haha, cross multiply. They almost got me there.
Wait. 80 times 3 over 10.
Yep. Then you can cross those, the 80 and the 10, 9 and 8, 8 times 3, 4 over 3. So it's 8.
for number 16.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Okay. Does that make sense? So convert those two numbers first and then turn it into a
Yeah.
multiplication and flip or invert that second number, okay? Then solve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, which number you got? 17?
Yep.
God, you go so fast.
What? Plus 3, so 320.
3 over 8.
17.
325 over 8. What? 16 over 1.
Wait, 323 over 8.
323 over 8. Okay, but how did you get there? Hold on, number.
4 over 17. 4 times 4, 16, 17. Then you have to flip it.
8 over what? 7.
No, 4 over 17. And then, I actually don't know. I bet 17, or these go into each other. So this would be 2 and 1, and then 323. Divided by 17, 19. Cool beans,
Wait, why would you-
sardine.
Oh,
Because if you can cross both of them, it's so simpler.
Wait, how can you cross?
17 goes into 323 19 times. So 1 and 19. So 19 over 2, 8, 9, 8. No, not 9 or 8. Nothing. Just it. No, it would be 14, 16, 9 and 1/2.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Eight times 3 is 24.
Whoa. Still there?
Who, me?
Oh. I don't know, it went black first.
6 times 5 is 35.
Halt! Where?
Hey, Faith.
Hey,
What's going
can
on?
you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Are you? Are we doing class?
Yeah, we're about to take a break, though.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we're on 248.
248.
Page,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so then that next one should say something about a city considering raising taxes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's look at that one.
Okay.
So really, this is just a little bit different than what we've been doing. So
Okay.
400 people surveyed. How many support the tax hike? So it gives you 3 different sets of fractions there, right?
Okay. Yes.
So against it, 4. So we know 3 out of 16 are for it, correct?
Correct.
So if we have 400 people surveyed, how many support this tax hike? So 400. So what our problem is going to end up being is 400 over 1,
Okay.
because that's not a fraction, it's just a regular whole number, so we have to put it over
Right.
1.
Okay.
So then we're going to multiply that by the 3 over 16 that it tells us are for this tax hike.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So then we can reduce these here, right? So that 16 goes into 400, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
16 into 400.
Yeah, we can't do anything with the 1 and the 3.
Right.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm.
You back, Madison? Had it for a second there. There we go.
Well,
Hey,
don't know what was going on
I don't
there.
know. It dropped you real quick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at number 19 there. So 400 people surveyed about this tax hike. It tells me 3 different sets of fractions. So it wants to know how many people support the tax hike. So it tells me 3 out of 16 supported this tax hike. So how many would that be out of those 4 options there?
Do what?
So how many would that be for those 4 that we have, those 4 different options?
I don't know. Would you add them?
Now you multiply.
Okay, so you multiply the 16s, right? Like along with it, even though they're the same?
I have no idea what you mean there.
Like the denominators.
Okay.
So do you multiply, you multiply 7 over 16 times 3 over 16 times 3 over 8?
No.
You have to don't you have to figure out how many times 400 or 16 will go into 400? Right?
Right. Look at what the question's asking you, Madison. So, where the hell am I looking for? That's what I need.
So
That's what I
25.
Okay, that's
So it just wants to know how many people are for the tax hike, right? How many support it? So we're given 3 different
Right.
sets of fractions, but one of those is against it, one's for, and one is undecided. So
right.
Yeah.
the 7/16
Okay.
and the 3/8 I could care less about, right? Because those don't help
Right,
me
so
solve my
just
problem at all. So like you said, all I care about is the 3/16. So
So is it just 3 times 16?
what it's going to be is 400 over 1, because 400 people are surveyed,
Okay.
times the 3 over 16. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So 400 over
Yes.
1 times 3 over
Yeah.
16. Now, your favorite, the cross canceling, the 16 goes into the 400.
Yeah.
So 16 goes into 400
25 times.
25 times, right. So that really just becomes 25 over 1 times 3 over 1.
I guess so.
So straight across,
So 75.
75, right. So
Okay.
of the 400 people, 3/16 represents 75 people.
Okay. Got it.
Okay?
Huh? What? Uh-oh. Can you
All right, so the next one. So Taylor with his 20 yards of fabric, how many shirts can they complete if each one of these requires 2 3/4 yards? So what I do for that one is, again, the 20 over 1 times our 2 3/4. So then just solve that way, okay?
Okay, I think I have that answer.
Okay. What do you have?
Is it B?
Yes. Yeah, so don't worry, we're at 7. You should have 7 and 3/11ths, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't worry about the 3 over 11. It just wants to know
Right.
how many shirts can she complete. So your answer really is 7. You can get all technical as hell if you want, but it's really 7, okay?
You did 12 and 5/8 times each other.
did the 25 eighths times 3. I think that's
Right, times what?
times 3.
Where's your work? I don't follow.
Because I don't know if it's right.
Okay, so do you guys have 21 and 22?
I think 21 is B, and I'm working on 22, and I think it's.
Yeah, 21 is B for sure. Because that is just 22 over 1 times the 2/3, or divided by the 2/3 it gives you.
Yeah, and then 22 is at C.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
You're right.
It would be, you can't do the improper, so 8 times 12 plus 5 is 100. 1 over 8. So 1 over 3 is 3 over 1. 1 times 3 is 3 over 3. 8 times 1 is 8. 3 over 3 divided by 8 is
37.
37. Well, goes into it with 7 left over 8.
For 22, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Cool.
Okay, so what did we get on the number 19?
75.
75. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay. All
So
right.
we had to divide after we got 75. Did we have to cross cancel anything?
Well, 16 into the 25, or the 400. I'm sorry, and that
Right.
gives me 25 over 1
Right.
times 3 over 1, which is
Okay.
just 75.
Okay. Gotcha. And then 20, or was that what we're doing now?
We actually did those.
Oh heck.
We did that page.
Sorry. I'm running behind.
All right.
I have the police officer at my door because my kids are. When my son got hit by the truck, the guy's trying to say it wasn't his fault. So
Okay.
imagine that.
Imagine that. Okay, so let's go to the next page.
I
Decimals and
don't
fractions.
like these.
Oh, I don't either. Oh, man.
This is percentages. You should love this stuff, Madison.
Okay, maybe once I get the hang of that.
Uh-huh.
We'll see. It's because I never knew how to type it into the calculator right either.
Okay.
That's probably why that's why I don't like them either. So this is decimals and fractions, right?
It's, yeah, fraction and decimal equivalencies. Okay, so when you see this, like number 1 there, right? So change 3 over 8 to a decimal. That's nothing more than dividing top into bottom. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So that gives you the decimal equivalency of 3/8.
Okay. Question though,
Okay?
I think I have number 1.
On the next page?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hold on, give me a second for that one. So if the opposite of what we just did for changing the 0.35 to a fraction, so remember we're dealing with things that are over 100, okay? So 0.35 is whatever over 100. So what you're going to do is, hold on. Oh, I see what they're talking about. Yeah. So divide that by what's in the hundreds column of that number. So 0.35, the 5 is in the hundreds column, right?
Right.
So remember, from the decimal to your right, tenths, hundreds, thousandths, 10,000ths, and so on. So really what we're going to do is divide the 35 by 5 and the 100 by 5. So that 0.35 as a fraction is really represented as 7 over 20. Okay?
Okay.
Now,
and that's what you do for all of them.
well, we're not going to see this one too often, so I'm not going to get too wrapped on this one, okay?
Okay.
So, next page, if you look at that first question,
Oh gosh.
so store has a 25% off sale. Clerks find the amount of discounts by multiplying. Got it. Okay. So if I have a regular priced item of $80 and it's 25% off, what is 25% of 80 is basically what it's asking. So 25%, remember, that is 1/4 of something, correct? So 80 is an easy number to figure this out. So we know that 1/4 of 80 is 20. Or just take 80.
0.
80, okay.
80 times 0.25.
Yes. So 80
So-
times 0.25.
Do
So
you
you need to
have
put
to
that-
put the 0 when you're typing it in or no?
No.
Okay.
But just to keep the place or no?
Well, if you're doing it on the calculator, it's going to automatically fill it in for you.
Right, okay.
If you're not, I would say do it just so as you're doing more and more problems, you don't lose track of it. Okay? So really you can do this two ways. So 80 times 0.25, that tells me 20. So that's my answer right there. Because it wants to know what is the discount on an item. So $80 is discounted by $20. So now it's dropping down to 60 is what I'm going to pay for this, right? So I can either multiply it
Right.
by 0.25, and that tells me my discount, or I can just multiply it by 25%. You get the same answer regardless, okay? But if you look at the way this problem is worded, it wants to know how much the discount is. So I would do 80 times 0.25. And that automatically tells me how much
Okay.
my discount is.
So for number 2.
Uh-huh. So this just wants to know what is the problem. How are you going to write this problem out?
So would it be D?
No,
D,
Or would it be B?
C.
it'd actually be C.
Multiply.
Yes,
Yeah.
girl, because it says which of the following expressions could be used to find the number in the ride share program.
Yep. So you have 480 workers,
I thought it
and really,
was saying between 480 to see which out of those 480.
So,
it wants to know how many out of this 480 workers are in this rideshare program. So it tells me 3 out of 10 or 3% or 30%, I'm sorry, are in this program.
okay.
Oh,
So 480
percent.
times 0.3, and that gives me 144 people.
So 480 times 0.3.
Yes. Yeah, but this problem really doesn't want to know that. It just wants to know how you're going to write this out. So 480 times 0.3.
3.
Right, because if you divide it by 0.3, you get 1,600. So you know that right there cannot be right. 0.7, I don't care about that because the other 70% of those people I don't give a damn about. And then 480 times 0.7, same thing. I don't care about those 0.7 because it tells me 480 workers and 3 out of 10 are in this program. So 480 times 0.3. Does that make sense?
Okay. So, yeah. I'm not sure about 4.
Okay.
Oh, Sharon, where are you?
Okay, so what doesn't make sense?
Is it 46?
For number 4?
Number
Yeah,
3.
40.
What is it?
Are we on number 3?
No, we're gonna jump to number 4 real quick. I'm sorry, Faith.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Okay, so number 4,
Wait,
right?
how did...
Say what?
Sorry, I thought we were right on 3, but then I checked it and it was wrong.
Okay, let's do 4 real quick, okay, since we're talking that already.
Okay.
Okay, so talking peanut brittle, right? So we know peanut brittle is $12 a pound because it gives us these 3 different products. Each one has a different pound or different price per pound. So peanut brittle is what I'm worrying about, $12. But I buy a pound and a half of it. So it's 12 times 1.5.
12.
Okay. So C.
1.5?
Yep. Now you can do 12.00 times 1.5 and still get 18. 12 times 1.5 gives you 18 as well. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how you do it, okay?
That wasn't.
So either way, it's still going to be $18. Okay, now $12 and we have a pound and a half, right? So I know a pound is 12. So that logically tells me that a half a pound is going to be $6, right?
Correct.
So, and something that's as easy as this, really, you could just take, okay, I know 12 for a pound. I know half a pound because I'm buying a pound and a half of it is $6. And just add the 2. But you're not always going to get a nice, easy problem like that, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so 12 times 1.5 is the way to figure this one out.
Okay. So
Say what?
when we do this, 12 times
Uh-huh.
1.5,
Yeah.
I need to where do I put the 1.5? Do I put it up? Does it matter if I put it on top or the bottom?
You're multiplying.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. And then I still have to move the decimal, or no?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, to make it, so I would have to move it, there would be 2 places to the right, or to the left.
Left.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense now, okay.
So that should give you, I see what you're saying, okay.
And that will give me 18,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, let's do number 5.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hold on. I don't know if I have this or not.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay, so look at the 2 numbers it's giving us, right? So
Yay! I think I got...
I start off with 1.125 inches of rain. So between those 2 hours, I go from 1.125 to 1.875. So easiest way, it just wants to know how much what fraction of an inch between these 2 hours. So 1.875 minus 1.125.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to turn it into a fraction.
Correct. So we know 0.75 is what?
3/4.
Yes.
We gotta slow down.
So 0.75. So what you do, you have to look back here, see what you do. You'll do 75 over 100, and then the 5 is in the hundreds column.
Yes.
So you'll do 75 divided by 5, 100 divided by 5, which is 15 over 20. That reduces.
Okay, so this.
Okay. Does that make sense?
So
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
15 over 20, so you have to reduce that. That would be
75 over 100. Why do you do it over 100?
Because if it's 3, so if it was like 0.7, it'd be over 10, right?
Yeah, because it's in the tens, it's in the hundreds position. Remember, it's
So-
tenths,
Okay.
hundredths,
Yeah.
thousandths.
Always over 100. And you do what's in the hundreds place,
Okay, times
or divide
divided by.
Right.
5. Because it's in the hundreds place.
Wait, that you have 15 there though.
It's divided by 5 though,
Okay.
which is 15. 75 divided by 5 is 15.
Oh, okay.
Then 100 divided by 5 is 20. That reduces to 3/4.
okay. So 3 will go into 15, and then 4 will go into 20. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Now after 3 hours,
Okay, so number 6.
so you do 3.
So I've got this steel rod, it's 3 meters long. It's cut into 8 equal pieces. So what is the length in meters of each piece?
Only 375.
3 divided by 8.
Yes. Which gives me what?
So
0.375. C.
Yes. So each of those 8 pieces of this rod cut are 0.375s of a meter in length for each one. Okay?
okay.
Does that make sense, Faith?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, that's why I was trying to get it. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's talk about decimals and fractions on a number line.
Oh, Lord, I hate this.
Oh,
No, y'all gotta stop doing that.
Okay, I don't hate it. I just need to learn
You
it.
gotta stop doing that.
Let's just say I get frustrated. How about that?
It can get confusing, I get it. Okay, so remember, number line is really just helps you compare sizes of numbers, okay? Numbers on the left are smaller than what you have on the right. So remember, your smaller ones go left, okay? Generally,
Okay.
that's where you're going to have 0 left, and then going to your right, they're going to go and become larger, okay? So look at that number 1 on 253. So if we know on this number line our far left number is 0, right? Then the next one is 1/3, and then we have a blank spot, and then the next number is 1, and then 1 and 1/3. So then what should be that middle point there that we don't have a number?
How does it see?
you just honestly, you just see like, okay, so obviously camping D's already up there. It's not 1 or 0's
So,
already up
one
there. It's not
half?
that, so it's
Get a half.
It'd be 2/3.
half.
Oh,
Yeah. So this one,
It's
if you
not
look at just the way that it,
half would count.
look at how the numbers are progressing, okay? So 0, 1/3, 2/3, and then 1. then 1 1/3. It should be 1 2/3, and then 2, and then keeps progressing like that. Okay. For this one, if you look at number 2, so yeah, 2/3 was the correct answer. So
Okay.
if you look at number 2, this one, the way that the numbers progress is 2 to 2.2, 0.4, 0.6. Logically, the next one should be 2.8.
0.7.
No, because they're going up by 2s.
Oh, I
2,
see.
2,
Okay.
2, 4, 2, 6, then 2, 8, correct?
Gotcha. Yes.
And then it just goes to 3, and then it would be 3.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and then 4.
So they're doing it. So after they do the 3, they're still going up 2.
Yeah, because, I mean, really, yes and no. If you look at this particular line graph, that's where this thing stops. Okay? So
Okay.
3 is as high as it's going to go. If it were to continue progressing at the way that it was, it would go 3.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, then 4, and continue on. Also, it would go to the left in that same manner. So it would go from 2 to 1.8, 0.6, 0.4, 0.2, and then 1, continuing on. Okay?
Okay.
So this particular one, 0.2, is how we're going up or down. If you look at the next one at number 3 there, it's not doing the 0.2, it's not doing the third, it's going up by halves.
Right.
So these can be different. It just depends on the situation, all right? So for this one, it wants to know what is the value of A minus B. So A is 3.5. B is 1 1/2. So 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1 is really all it is.
Yeah. So
It'd be 2.
and then 4, is it 2/3?
Yes.
So we're still on number 3. We're on number 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you see how 2 is for that answer, right? Because it just wants to know what is the value of A minus B. So if I have 3.5 and I minus 1.5 from that, I have 2.
Okay.
Okay?
This one I'm confused. 4.
Okay, so look at what do you call it? That one.
Number 4.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 64.
It's literally.
Okay, so she has 24 cookies,
It's literally
gave 16 of them to her neighbor, right? So
Yeah.
and it reduced.
how would you represent that here on this particular number line?
Well, that's 8. She only has 8. Wouldn't you subtract 24 from 16?
You would take 16, divide that by 24.
Okay.
That gives you 0.666.
Okay.
Which
I got is 1.5.
no, you're doing it the wrong way. 16 divided by 24.
Oh, 16.
Right.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so 0.666 expressed as a fraction is 2/3.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so then that was 4. So then what about 5 and 6?
I know 6 is 9.33, but I don't
Yes.
know 5.
Okay.
I don't. How did you get that?
I just look at the other numbers. It goes 8, 8.33, 8.66, then to 9. So I knew after 9, before 9.66 would be 9.33.
Okay, so it was going up by 3. Is that right?
33, yeah.
Okay. So 9.33.
Okay, so number 5 there. So how much are these increments going up?
I'm trying to figure that out. I guess I could subtract.
What?
So really, they're going up 1 point or 0.125.
1.25. Okay.
Okay, so it would just be 4.5 plus 4.125.
Correct.
No.
0.125. Yeah.
Wait.
So you would be 4,
I put 4. Okay.
4.25.
Yeah. So each one of these increments is going up 0.125.
4.1.
So that should give you for that one, since we started at 4.5, we're just going to add 0.125 to that.
So what would the number be?
4.625.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
4.265.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you look at the one directly to the left of that, correct? So you have 4.5. Before
Right.
that was 4.375. So the progression for that one would be 0.125. So it only holds since I'm going right with this. So the next one, I would add 0.125. So that would give me the 4.625. Does that make
Will
sense?
C be 11, of course?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what about 6?
9.33.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
So it's 11 and 5/6
For number 8?
or 8.
Yes. Yep.
It's
Wait, 11, 5, 6?
Yes. What would number 7 be, though?
3 and 1/3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
130, yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. That's just, it's
11 and 5,
incrementally
6.
going up by a third.
Yeah. Each increment goes up by 1/6. So yep, it would be 6 instead of 3/4. That would make sense. We just didn't. If we would have subtracted right, we would have got the right answer.
Okay, 720. All right, cool. Okay, does that make sense to you guys?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I'll tell you what. Then let's jump over to. Come on, Paige. All right, do we need to do this one on the next page with the decimal and fraction calculator skills?
No. I don't think so.
Okay, then let's do. That's a
Ratio
lot. That
proportions.
is a lot of questions. Not yet. Okay,
There it is.
so these practice questions that are in here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about 29 of them.
Jesus.
So
Holy.
let's take a break and start knocking these out. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so this one we're starting. This guy's got 20.5 inches of this floor, right? And he cuts
Right.
off 4 3/4 of an inch of it. Okay. Okay, cool. So that one is straightforward. So really it is 20.5 minus 4 3/4. So if you have 20.5, let's just go ahead and get rid of, say, 20 inches, and we're minus 4 inches from that. So that's going to give us 16, right? So it should be 15 3/4.
Where did you get that? 3 times 2. Wait, 3 plus 2.
Okay, so look at it this way. So 20 minus 4 is 16, right?
Right?
Okay. So if I have 20.5 and I minus 4.5, that's going to give me what? 16, right? But I still have my quarter left over. So that's going to give me 15 3/4. Okay?
Just don't think of it so hard. Still got that quarter, so you know it's gonna be under your subtract. Okay, and then
Okay, what about number 2?
oh yeah, I got B.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. The box of cereal costs $4.69. The table says that the box they can't consider this.
So, this specifically what it's asking for. 19 divided by 19 divided by. Oh, I lied. It specifically asks 4.69 divided by.
So which one are you doing?
And then you get,
Hey, round.
yes. I was showing her how I did it too.
Okay. Yeah, you get 0.24 whatever, so just round that up to 25 cents.
So,
So how
for
did
number
you
3,
put that?
would you do 200
Hold on, Faith.
plus,
Okay.
or actually 98.85?
Okay, what were you saying, Faith?
Okay, so how did you get the 25 cents?
You take the 4.69 and divide that by 19,
Okay.
and that should
Okay,
give you
that-
0.24 whatever, and just
I
round that
gotcha.
up to 25.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I thought I did. Okay.
And then plus 200. 98. So would 3 be C?
Yes.
Okay. I see. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so 12 times 98.85, that answer plus the $200 down payment gives you 1386.20.
Okay, so you would.
10 and a half.
What was that, Faith?
Okay, so you would take 12 times or 98.5
Yeah.
times 12, right?
Yeah, 12 times 98.85, and then that should give you 1186.20, and then you
Right.
add the $200 down payment.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
would 4 be?
What about 4?
Four BC.
Yes. Yeah, 2.869 times 10.5. Because if it's 10 and a half gallons, we know that's going to be 0.5. So the price per gallon times 10.5. So when you see something like this where it's the 2.869, multiply all those digits, okay? So don't leave any of them off. So all of that times 10.5.
So for number 5, would you have to make these all improper fractions first, or just
What are you doing?
make them decimals and then add them?
Charles, shower.
What I would do, I would go 1.5 pounds, 4.75 pounds, and then 2.3 pounds. Does that make sense?
Did you say 7.5?
1.5, 4.75, and 2.3. So what is the average weight in pounds? Damn dog. Good job. Hey, hey. Knock over the trash can like it's no big deal.
Doesn't he know that you're in school?
He doesn't care. None of them do.
Get back. 2.85.
What'd you say, Brooklyn?
B.
No.
Yep. Absolutely.
Leave right here.
Oh yes. So it says so you add. Oh, cool beans sardine. Got that.
Okay.
You said beef?
Yep.
So 258.
Do you do
32.5.
2.5?
And that 1/5. No, 1/4.
Yeah, 1/4.
So it'd be C.
Yes. What'd you say, Faith?
There you go.
Okay, so on number 6,
Uh huh.
okay, she makes $8 an hour.
Right.
Okay, and if she earned $258 in 1 week, would you do 8 times 5?
You would do 258 divided by 8.
Ah, okay.
Should give you 32.25. So,
Okay.
and if you remember, if you go back to some of these, where's that page? The fraction and decimal equivalencies, a few pages back, 0.25 comes out to a quarter. So,
gotcha.
32 and a quarter. So some of these, I mean, they're really easy to remember. Some of them you just have to remember how to be able to convert between the two. So a quarter is 0.25, a half is 0.5, 3/4 is 0.75, that kind of thing. If you know those, you should be okay. But the others, knowing how to convert back and forth is a good idea, okay?
Okay.
How do you do that?
Halt. I don't know if that's true. Okay, so for number 7, what do you do? Oh, what did I just do?
Oh, Yeah, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I was on 8. Go ahead.
Oops. Would you do 20.5 minus 6.25 and get 14.14? Or, 14 and 1/4.
Hold on.
And
You
then,
hold on.
what?
What you would do is you're right on track though, but hold on. You would do 20 and a half minus 6 and a quarter,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
which gives you 14 and a quarter.
Yes. That's
Okay.
what I meant. That's what I meant. My
Okay,
bad.
good. That's yeah. That's
Quarter, wait.
say what?
Yeah, I wouldn't do from 4 to 2 and a half.
A quarter is 3/4, right?
No, a quarter is 0.25. 3/4 is 0.75.
So that's 1/4, though.
Yeah, 1/4.
Oh, okay. So then you would see how many 1/4s go into 14 and 1/4.
Yes.
So
So-
it'd be 14.25
Okay. You're
divided by 0.5.
divided by 0.25.
So yeah, so B.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay.
You know, yeah.
$9. Would it be? Hold. Yeah. Would it be? Would 8 be C?
No.
Or
N-
would it be D?
It'd be D. Yeah, because you take
It'd be
1,000 times 0.27, and then 1,000 times 0.36, and then minus those two, because it wants to know what's the
Okay.
difference between A and B.
okay.
Okay.
Wait, so 1,000. Wait. 1,000 times 0.27.
Yes.
1,000 times 0.36.
Yes.
9.36, and then subtract the number from that.
Yeah. So then it wants to know how much are you saving by buying A instead of B. So you would just take the difference between B and A.
Okay.
Damn. Okay, does that make sense how that works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay, so do we want to just keep working all these, or do I just want to be like, hey, finish these and we'll go over them tomorrow?
Yeah.
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 Second one?
Sounds good.
What about you, Faith?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so let's do that. We will go over them, and then tomorrow we're going to get into ratios and proportions and percents, okay?
Okay.
And I really really want to get into computing simple interest. Okay?
Okay, first, 3/4 0.75.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get confused, go back to that page where we have the fraction and decimal equivalencies on 250.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, so there should be 29 of those there, so finish them up, and then we will review them tomorrow. If you have anything that's killing you, just shoot me an email or a voicemail or something, and then we'll figure it out, okay?
Alrighty.
All right.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow then.